Hello, everybody. Welcome to 321 No Kidding. Little bonus series here as I do the 30-day fearless challenge. Don't like the fact that I'm shadowy. Anyway, today's prompt was to talk about people we're grateful for. And I used to do this a lot, right? You probably remember if you've been here a minute. Uh, I had a poster in my room at my last, two apartments ago, I guess. Anyway, and it had the list, and I never did finish the list. So there's many, 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 many people I'm grateful for, including you as a listener or viewer, uh, and people in my life. It's just incredible. But I had to only pick three. So I am going to share with you my three people that I am grateful for and that came to mind very easily uh, and have contributed consistently one way or another to my life. Not that it's a give and take thing, but this is who showed up. So the very first person is mom, right? Without mom, I wouldn't be here. Uh, and I mean that literally and figuratively. She's been great. As many of you know, I live a very nomadic lifestyle, and there's always a bed here for me. She's just always taking care of me with anything that I need. And our relationship has really flourished and evolved the last few years. It went from very, very tough. Like I always knew she loved me and wanted the best for me, but it was always strained. And I'm sure a lot of that had to do with my alcohol, the gambling, the not living a very, not a lifestyle that I was very proud to share, right? So I was usually the secretive, holding back one. So, number one gratitude person is mom. The second person I listed, and I don't know, it was his birthday yesterday or sometime this week. So I think I have him on the brain. But my friend Brett that I met in treatment, a few a few reasons. I was gonna do one, two, three, but I'll just do a little summary. I learned a lot from Brett, both good and bad. And I honestly believe 321, the vision, the evolution wouldn't be where it was if I never met Brett. I would not have been introduced to the music of Blue October without Brett. I would not have probably gotten over my fear or resistance around being an entrepreneur. Like for many years when I was in the floral business, people would be like, hey, why don't you open your own floral shop? And I was thinking, hey, it would cost $1 million at least to carry all these different things that the customers want and that we're able to provide in a grocery store. And I don't have to worry about medical benefits, like that used to be my answer. But watching him and his wife and what they did uh, for both of their businesses, I was kind of on the outside looking in as they built their second business. And it made it a little less scary because I knew people that were in the weeds about it. Not to mention, coming out of rehab and having someone with the same clean date, which was always cool, and um, similar mindsets on some things and very different on others. I can remember a conversation where we were talking about like going to GA meetings in 30 years from now or whatever. And I was very black and white at the time because this is back like really when we first got out of rehab and being like, well, yeah, of course we still have to go. Like you're never cured. And I was really firm in my stance, and his was more like, like I'm gonna figure this out, have a healthy lifestyle and not be married to recovery in that way every day. Interestingly enough, he's a drug and alcohol counselor now, which was not his intention when we first got out of treatment. So uh, very grateful for him. Taught me how to be a better person, sometimes by example, and sometimes just because he pissed me off and I had to figure it out. So that's Brett. Now, my last person I'm going to talk about, and this may sound a little random, or maybe not explicable because it's not like we're besties or anything. But my third person I'm very, very grateful for is Justin Furstenfeld, who is the lead singer of Blue October. Uh, Not in a starstruck kind of way. That's not why I'm bringing him up. He just celebrated 11 years clean from drugs and alcohol. And I made it a priority to go to shows last year. And I made it to like six or something, like in a very short period of time. And I don't necessarily connect to music the way a lot of people do. Like my niece can listen to songs in it. Um, there's like meaning. I remember a friend of mine listening to a CD that someone made. We both made it, and she could hear the story embedded in it. And Blue October's music is no different, right? I don't understand all the lyrics, and I don't understand what goes on in Justin's head. Like what I thought songs were about, I had no idea until COVID. He explained them when he was doing private shows for us, or doing shows on Instagram, not private shows, but yeah, like they were doing virtual concerts, and he would do these things like every other Friday night where he would do acoustic and tell stories about the songs. So I'm grateful for that introduction as well. But what he does and how, so he lives by example, but then he also talks through messaging. So I mean that by example, obviously he's still clean, and his presence of like always giving back and showing up for people, and like the pay it forward and helping others that struggle. He's built that into how he functions. He's very appreciative of his team, and you can see the humility. Like, I don't know how you stay humble when you're like famous, and I know that women triple, like all over him, and in a sense, like, like the starstruck sense. But how he communicates with the band and how transparent he is with everyone, and how he shows up for everyone and is so grateful. Like I if this was not a no betting kind of arena, because I could feel the bad language coming out of my mouth of I bet, but I would fathom a guess that he probably uses the word grateful in his posts, genuine, authentic gratitude in his posts and at the shows more than, anyone that I can think of. Of course, I live in a sheltered world and I only listen to certain things and go to certain places. And then in between songs, sometimes he tells stories that connect to his life. And it's just really beautiful. He doesn't get bogged down by the negative. He knows who he is. He's very comfortable in it. And I strive to be like that, to have, I call it humble confidence. I love that. And he's so mindful of it. Like he had recently talked about, wondering if he was uh, not acting humbly, or not feeling humble or whatever. And then he went out for a walk and met some people, and he talks to people. He's not above that. After the shows, he sits there for another hour and signs merchandise. Like, it's not bullshit. Like, I actually wonder how the heck they have the perseverance to, sleep on a bumpy road in a tour bus, set up a show, be amazing, stay after the show, and then like rinse and repeat. So those are my three people that I am talking about being grateful for today. So it was Mom and Brett and Justin. And this wraps up day 2 of my Fearless 30 content. And I look forward to being here again tomorrow and see what surprise ALOC has for a prompt for us for tomorrow. Love you, beautiful people.